this is Greg Kelly. Donate now to Toys for Tots, which works year-round. Go to toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots supports children in need throughout the year with programs like the Toys for Tots Literacy Program. Established in 2008, it has provided over 63 million books to disadvantaged children. The Toys for Tots Literacy Program is committed to providing disadvantaged children with direct access to books and educational resources that enhance their ability to read and communicate effectively. Go to toysfortots.org.
Excuse me! Taxi!
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Now, you guys, let's go to former FBI supervisory agent, one of the great security analysts, and he's also a Fox News contributor. He's going to be joining us in a minute.
He's also a mayor.
Yeah, that's right. He's also a mayor. That's right. We're calling him back, actually, because it just dropped off. He's in the middle of it all. But now we have him. James Gagliano. James, great to have you here. First off, any comments about, big changes, as you probably saw today, with the Department of Homeland Security? Kristi Noem is out. Markwayne Mullin is in, at least for nomination. Everybody thinks he'll sail through because it's before the Senate. And it's a simple majority.
They always do their own, don't they?
Yeah, they always do their own. But he's a good guy too. So James, how does this kind of affect Homeland Security if maybe there's a lack of, or at least changes ahead?
Well, Rita, first of all, great to join you guys. And I think it's important to note what falls under Homeland Security. So it's Customs and Border Protection. It's ICE. It's the United States Secret Service. It's TSA at the airports. It's FEMA in the event we have a natural disaster. It's CISA. It's the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. It's all these critical components. And look, as a young FBI agent in the mid-'90s, I sat through, I think, a 3-week government shutdown that affected the FBI. And in 2013, I was in Mexico and sat through a 16-day government shutdown. So counterproductive. I think it's dangerous that we put these folks in these positions where they're either furloughed, if they're considered non-essential, or they're required to work without pay. It absolutely makes no sense, and it's certainly not making us safer.
Yeah, and speaking of making us safer, talk about what you think are the biggest threats right now on the homeland, because, a lot of folks in Intel are saying it's sort of like red alert. You've got, there's a guy, by the way, today, who was in, court in New York, Pakistani, who they believe, via the Iranians, was trying to kill President Trump. I mean, there are so many of these threats all over the place.
Absolutely. And the four main ones, and it really doesn't change, are Russia, China, North Korea, and you guessed it, Iran. And obviously, with the ramped up war that's going on over there that the United States and Israel are conducting against the Iranian mullahs over there, it certainly brings more threats to the homeland. Look at what just happened in Austin, Texas. We had a man with a hoodie on that said "Property of Allah," that had a T-shirt under the hoodie that had an Iranian flag on it. He fired from his vehicle with a pistol, struck a number of young people that were out celebrating on a weekend. Then he parked his vehicle, jumped out with a semi-automatic rifle, and fired some more. Blessedly, the Austin police interdicted him. But these kind of acts now, was this directed or was it simply inspired? These are the kind of things I think that the Department of Homeland Security, FBI, and law enforcement writ large really have on their radars right now.
Also, you got to worry about, just like you said, the lone wolf cyber attacks. What about cyber?
Absolutely. And remember, I think, for your listeners to kind of get a grasp on what we mean by sleeper cells. Sleeper cells are, generally speaking, agents or agent provocateurs that these other nations, hostile nation states, I named them, Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, and a number of others, will try to get their people to come across the border, to come into the United States. And it's why border security is so critical. We have a 5,000-mile border between us and our northern neighbors. We have a 2,000-mile border between us and Mexico. And look, there's three things they're setting out to do: sabotage, espionage, and terror attacks. And obviously terror attacks are the most concerning because they usually involve the deaths of innocents. But sabotage and espionage are equally nefarious and things that we have to be concerned about.
Yeah, definitely. Tony Carbonetti, your thoughts?
No, I think right now we're susceptible to, I just took the train back from D.C. And I worry all the time that, a sleeper cell, a lone wolf can do something. So, I think right now everyone should keep their eyes open and say something when you see something. That's what we need to do.
You're absolutely correct. That's, and the FBI, do they have, I know they had set up a special hotline in Tucson. Do they have a special hotline for that?
Well, you can call any of the, I think there's 56 field divisions across the country. You can call any of them. They're open 24/7. They have operators that stand by in the event that somebody has a tip or sees something suspicious. And, John, that's really, really critical and important. And remember this, just like the point about being on the train, terrorists are like water. Criminals are like water. They always follow the path of least resistance. So when we make our baseball stadiums or our presidential inauguration events or our big events, we make them very robust in the security realm. What does somebody want to do? He wants to go to a soft target. So those are the kind of things where you need to have your head on a swivel.
John brought up also Tucson. Any update, by the way, on what's going on with that real quick before we go? I know you spent a bit of time there with the whole Nancy Guthrie case. It's 33 days I saw today, James. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I spent 2 weeks out there, Rita, and I feel like the last time we spoke, I feel like there are no new updates. I know that there are upwards of 40,000 tips that have come in. Obviously, law enforcement knows more than we do, obviously, here on the outside, but it just doesn't seem like they have a person of interest or a suspect yet. It's got to be just gut-wrenching for Savannah Guthrie and her family.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so sad. It is just, I remember, James, when you and I were talking, we're like, okay, could this be it? When they found a glove, could this be it?
Yes.
And here we are. Wow. Keep us posted. James, we love having you. James Gagliano, former FBI supervisory special agent and also Fox News contributor.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Rita. Thanks, guys.
Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our country has to offer, especially health care. Across every state, every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.